Hey, scrappers and recyclers, it's Shark Scrapper. I've had a few questions from folks on how I prepare the Gayloard boxes for shipment. So I thought I would do a detailed kind of here's how I get started with this. Now, here in the United States, we call these large shipping boxes Gayloard boxes. I did a video on the arranging of the shipment, and I'll put a link for that in a pinned comment or at the end of this video so that you can see it. But that video was all focused on the mechanics of arranging the shipment, whether with LDI logistics or with freightquote.com. Now, preparing the Gayloard box for load up and stuff like that is the next step to take. What you see I'm doing right now is I'm getting the tear weight for the pallet, the box, and then there's a base piece that goes in there because these Gayloard boxes don't have solid bottoms. This is really important because, as you'll see, it can add up to be quite a bit of weight. So you need to have this. Don't use the standard assumption. Some yards will just call it 50 pounds. And that is going to get you in trouble because, as you're going to see here, it can be considerably more than that. And if you go to ship a package like this and your weight is off, you can get dinged with a pretty hefty makeup fee because the shipping company will reweigh them and remeasure them, and they don't like it when even if it's a mistake, if you're not accurate with your weights. All right, so I've recorded the tear weight here, and now it's just me wrestling the box and the pallet to the staging location. You've no doubt seen your scrapyard, and if you work at the scrapyard, you may be even one of the people that do this with a forklift. You would have already put the box on the pallet and then put it all on the scale and weighed it out. So that makes much better sense. And at some point, I hope to get what's called a pallet stacker. So it's not as big as a forklift. It can handle, the ones that I've seen on the market can handle 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. They can lift them up over 5 feet. So that would be perfect for me in the confined spaces of the shark cage and for loading into the trucks that come to do the pickups so that I don't have to keep paying the associated liftgate fee, which is running anywhere from $80 to $100 with each load. All right, so we just get the Gayloard box shaped, and then we flip it over onto the pallet. And I know it looks a bit disjointed the way that works, but yeah, it takes a little bit of work because, of course, the flaps don't want to stay in the right position. There's always at least one flap that wants to go the wrong way and create a problem for the box. You know, it's just Murphy's Law, I guess. The other thing that I would like to emphasize here is you don't have to be a big-time scrapper to be shipping Gayloard box quantities of material. I wish I had started doing this when I was down in Florida. Back then, I just didn't think I had enough material or that I was moving it fast enough. And I had the easy option of a couple of scrap yards that would take material that I couldn't afford to ship to boardsort.com via the Postal Service or FedEx in the 40, 50 pound boxes. By using Gayloard size quantities and what is referred to as less than truckload or LTL shipping, I am able to get my shipping costs down into the 40 cents, mid 40 cents, that kind of range per pound. Sometimes a little bit lower than that, sometimes a little higher than that, but it makes some of the lower grade materials cost effective to ship now. Nothing says that you have to be a large company to do this. The shipping companies don't care what size you are. As long as you have followed the rules for shipping material and pay the shipping fee, they're happy to ship it for you. If you don't have a forklift, that's not a problem. I don't have a forklift. You do need a pallet jack, as you see here behind me, because you have to move these things and get them into a position where they can get loaded onto the lift gate of the trucks that pick them up. Believe it or not, if the trucking company, if the carrier has to come inside your building to pick it up, that's another additional fee. So you want to have your own pallet jack to be able to take these outside and put them on the lift gate. But pallet jacks are relatively inexpensive. You can get them on a lot of the auction sites. And so you're going to need one of those if you go into the Gayloard quantity or the palletized loads. But the reduction in shipping costs is amazing. And I really, really wish I had started doing this sooner. All you really need is a space that's big enough to keep the pallet out of the weather, because they're cardboard and they're, going to get messed up if they get rained or snowed on and that kind of thing. So a shed or a space that's big enough to keep the pallet out of the weather is fine. And then you can be shipping material like this too. And if it takes a month or 2 or 3 to get up enough material, and as you're going to see, you can load multiple types of material in one Gaylord. It doesn't have to be all the same material. So there's a lot of options for taking advantage of this method for shipping. So you can see what I did was position the Gaylord box on the pallet. I've got the base down inside there. I've labeled it so I know which pallet this is for my load plan. Probably I'll mark out some of these just so there's no confusion. I also put the label on the other side too, just in case I cover something up by accident. And then we can start getting this thing loaded up. Now here's an example of the in process. So this is 2510. I actually thought this was going to go out sooner than what it did, but it's funny, but once you get these, I found that when you're doing a full load of the same board, it's like once you get up about 3/4 or so, it seems like the more you put in, the less it fills it up for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to keep filling this thing up. Right now it's got 545 pounds of low and mid-grade boards in it. So we need to finish topping that off. Unless the buyer calls and says, yeah, just send it as is. This box is a bit larger and it should come out to be a pretty nice load. Let me show you what I mean by the load plan. So right now the plan is that this Gaylord box is going to go to board sort. So what you can see here, I have the box number. So it's the 12th Gaylord of the year 2025. That's the system I'm using right now anyway. Probably going to board sort, and I've sort of laid out what my load plan is going to be. The bottom layer is going to be loose telecom boards, and then there'll be inner boxes of various peripheral high, peripheral low, various motherboards, smalls to fill it up. And then I write down what the tear is for the pallet plus the box and the base, 75 pounds. And then this piece of paper, or the clipboard, will get attached to that box via a large clip like you see over here. And as I add stuff into the box, I can keep track of what's going in. And that way I'm not, that way I've got an accurate weight and count. All right, well, now here's why I am planning to go with Telcom. So you might be asking yourself, why Telcom low for the base? Well, I have that bin ready with telecom low. I have this bin ready with telecom low. And then all the way over here, because I was too lazy to carry it to the other side, I have another bin of telecom low. Now, my other option is, instead of having the bottom layer be loose telecom lows, I could go with peripheral boards. I have all of these small gray boxes here are full of these peripheral, I believe they're going to be peripheral high grades. That's what I'm calling them right now. As you can see over here, this and this are all peripheral high grades. These are all peripheral low grades. So I have a pretty good load of peripheral high grades too that I could use as my bottom layer in there. But I think I'm going to go with the oh man. All right, I'm going to go with the telecom low grades on the bottom, and then the peripheral high grades will get put into boxes and stacked in on top of the telecom low grade. That's my plan. I'm sticking to it. All right, then I've also got, and this is when it'll come down to how much room do I have. So I have some P4 small sockets. I have some large socket motherboards. I have some servers here. These are I-series. I'm going to get a lot more of those here as I scrap out some PCs. So I may not put those in with this load. And then over here we have a few laptop boards in there. We have some back planes there and there. So those kind of things will make up the what I kind of call the filler space. You know, after I put in some big boxes of stuff, there's always little spaces that need to get filled up, and rather than just stuff dunnage in there, I will put material that has value in there. So that's the plan there, and that's why I kind of come up with a load plan. It's just sort of a general idea of how stuff is going to go into the Gayloard box, so that I at least get started in the right direction, and I can convince myself that I'm doing the right thing. I had a question that came up. What do I cover the Gaylords with? So right here you can see this is a lid for a Gaylord. That one is a hexagonal shape. So far my scrapyard has been really cool about just giving them to me, so that's cool, saving me some money. Because if you buy them new, they can be a little bit pricey depending upon where you buy them. And then none of them are ever a perfect fit. So I just, kind of beat down the sides and make it fit once I get it on top of there. The bottom line is, you do not have to be a large scrapyard or warehouse to take advantage of LTL, less than truckload shipping, and save significant money. A lot of people helped me get started down this road. I'm happy to pass on that knowledge. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. And in the meantime, there's videos popping up on either side of the screen here that will provide more information. And the round one is to help you to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of Shark Scrapper.